Welcome back to part 2 of how to make the entire Chinese takeout menu. Now, of course, as I said before, I'm not teaching you everything. They have like 8,000 recipes, but if you look at the recipes, most of them kind of overlap. There's like 8 kinds of fried rice, 8 kinds of stir fries, 8 kinds of beef, and this. So I'm teaching you all the basics, so once you know these, you'll have the confidence to pretty much make any dish on the Chinese menu, including this one. Here we go. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this is like the most popular of the Chinese takeouts, but the sweet and sour chicken back in the day was my favorite because I used to not love spicy food, so getting like that sweet and sour and crispy experience I always freaking loved, and now it's time for you guys to learn the secrets to be able to do it. Whoa! Cool, so into a bowl, I have this pineapple slices that's in the juice. I'm not gonna use the pineapple until the actual chicken, but the actual pineapple juice, don't wanna get pineapple and syrup, get pineapple and juice, use that juice, juice it up. Now some sugar, and this is like a mystery sauce, and I'm gonna show you why. People never know why it's so red. People never know why it's so good. They don't know what's in it. Freaks people out, but it's really simple. It's just the pineapple juice, sugar, vinegar. You can use white vinegar, like rice vinegar. It's good. Get that hot. And then the secret weapon, which you may have seen by now depending on what order I put this video in, is just a couple drops of red food coloring. Okay, don't tell me we're out. Come on. What the fuck? Nope, there you go. Cool, and magically, as food coloring does, it will turn. Oh, interesting. This is like a gloopy food color. Just gonna add a little salt. Right now, this sauce is obviously very liquidy, and usually when you get it, it's goopy. So we're gonna do a cornstarch slurry. The slurry is the best known secret, well I guess it's not a secret if it's well known, to Chinese cooking. And you basically get some cornstarch, 2 tablespoons or so, and you add a similar amount of water. And what you're doing is, if you were to just drop the cornstarch in there, it would get all gloopy. So the water allows it to thin out while being able to keep its cornstarchability. And basically, once that comes to a boil, we stir this in and it's gonna get really thick. It's gonna thicken stuff up. That's how they get all their sauces. And you've seen that we've done this a lot of times with the recipes where we put it right into the sauce. But if you're not doing that, this is what they do. They always do the water and the cornstarch. Oh, so I like to just kind of get this swirling around and then just slowly pour in the cornstarch. Don't do it all right away. You kind of want to see how thick it's gonna get. Let's see it already thick. Oh yeah, see it's already like changing viscosity. Very viscous. And also know that when it cools down, it's gonna thicken even more. But that's looking pretty good to me. Maybe I'll add just a little bit more. Alright, let's make that batter for that sweet and sour chicken. Look. So first thing I'm gonna do is some cornstarch. Some recipes do call for flour, but I say screw flour. You can keep it gluten-free for anyone that cares. I just think that if you can make something great without flour, I love flour, but if you can make something great without flour, then just don't use it. Okay, so I just added in some baking powder, just like a quarter teaspoon, I'd say. Just a little sprinkle. Go in with some salt. Salt your stuff. Okay, this one's gonna be a little different than General Tso's. We're making more of like a batter out of it. And just gonna add some water here. And one thing I saw with the flour, they use self-rising flour, and that's what makes it super poofy. Hopefully it will still get nice and poofy. If not, you know, and you want that really poofy sweet and sour chicken, you can. Some people like that, some people don't. It's really up to you. Okay, got my nice batter here. Should probably scramble this separately, but see if I care. Alright, okay. An egg is an egg is an egg is an egg. Alright, so at this point, I should probably add my chicken in. I'm gonna do a little fork whisking. But honestly, it feels very thin, so I'm gonna do more cornstarch. And that's the beautiful thing about batters, is like I could test one. I could add 1 piece of chicken, fry it, see how it feels, and then kind of go from there. But I just know, because I'm somewhat of a batter aficionado, that I'm gonna add some more cornstarch first, make sure it's not too lumpy dumpy. I actually decided just to go right for more cornstarch. Now it's almost like icing right now, which that could be too thick, but we're gonna see what happens. Get our oil hot. If you don't have a thermometer, again, no big deal. You gotta work with what you got, people. I'm just putting the chicken, I don't know if you really need to see this, but putting the chicken in the batter. I ended up re-thinging it out because it felt like it was getting way too thick. But maybe that's good. Let's try it out though. Oh, let's see that sexy beast. I like that. Okay. I ended up adding a little bit more cornstarch, so I'm just gonna go in with all the chicken. You can't see this, but you can trust me. Just go in with it. Frying. Look at this. I'm using like probably about 1 inch of oil in there. So anyone that thinks you need a ton of oil, you're wrong. See, this should be just about done. Oh yeah. Give it like another minute or so. A little color. Chicchione coming out, more going in. Just doing the bite and taste test. Oh my god. Oh my god. God. Definitely need some salt. There's no salt in that chicken. Really, I need better. But that batter is perfect. Wow, look at those nuggies of finger-loving Gluski. Who doesn't like the nugskers? Time to finish him. To finish off this dish, pretty damn simple. Take that beautiful, so suspiciously odd-looking sauce, which we know now because of the food coloring is not odd. Add that to the pan. Cut up the pineapple from the can. The red pepper. You don't have to like cook the red pepper. I mean, am I saying red pepper when it's green? Well, I lost my goddamn mind. Well, I lost it a long time ago. But I'm just gonna get that hot and kind of get it a little warm. It's actually nice to have that extra crunch in there from the green pepper. Don't worry about going too crazy. And now, just go in with all your chicken. Come one, come all. Come to the chicken party. Then you can kind of just toss it, or not, because I suck at that apparently. This is what I need. Oh yeah. Look at that. Now is when it becomes the love master that it was meant to be. And one thing I always admire about Chinese food is somehow they can douse something that's crispy in sauce and it still has a little bit of that crispability. It's like something they'd yell at you for chopped on. Like, you put the crispy stuff with the sauce and not soggy. If you chop, you can suck my nuts. Depending on what order I edit this video, you may or may not have already seen this rice. If you have, you know how delicious it is. If not, stick around because it's coming. But I'm going right in the fried rice because I think one of my favorite things is to get that combo. It's like sort of Panda Express, you know, you can get the combo of the pork fried rice and the sweet and sour chicken, and it's just too good. What have they done with life to deserve such gloriousness? And if you're lucky enough to eat a decent meal every day, whether you make it yourself, or someone makes it for you, or you buy it, you gotta appreciate it. And when you can make food like this, it's just the ultimate in life game-changing situations. Oh, baby. Alright, enough with the damn beauties. Time to eat. I can't fight this feeling. I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control and I think I like it. I like Chinese food. I also want. Oh god. It's too good. Alright, what do you say? Let's go ahead and make this Char Siu pork. So the first thing you want to do is make this sauce. There are a good amount of ingredients in it, but I've done it before without too many ingredients. It's still delicious. I'm taking some rice wine, a bunch of soy. And typically with the Char Siu, they would like, I think they smoke it or grill it, but we're just gonna roast that son of a jizzle in the oven. McDizzle. Why not? Hanushki. Gotta get that sweetness. A little bit of sesame oil. Now this is gonna seem weird, but food coloring, if you ever wonder why like the pork in certain dishes have that like really deep red to it, well guess what? Now you know. Wait, look, you can see me. Yes, it's me. Okay, so I added some red food coloring and that's just what really gives it that cool red color, and you'll see that a lot. A little more 5-spice powder if you don't have it. Again, whatever you don't have, just omit or try to figure out a way to be creative, because you can do it. I believe in you and me together. Okay, brown sugar. A lot of recipes I've seen call for ketchup. but ketchup, no thank you ketchup. They also call for hoisin, which I will add. I made a little homemade hoisin. I guess I should maybe do a video on that, but I don't know if it's appropriate for this video per se. Hoisin's one of those like things, kind of like Chinese barbecue sauce. People love it. No one knows how the hell to make it. Luckily, I'm a genius. Okay, so I'm just basically bringing this up to heat so it melts a little bit, because once it melts, then it's easier to pour on my pork nizzle. So it's pretty good. By melt, I mean like dissolve the sugar. Okay, now on to pork lamb, pork lamb. What we have here is a failure to communicate. So what I'm gonna do with this pork, I think, is just kind of, this is not the right knife for this, but it's all good. Just sort of get this stuff off. You don't really want this. Forget what it's called. It's like the ligaments or something. I don't know. Who gives a shit? Okay, so just take off any excess fat and, you know, whatever stuff doesn't look like it wants to be involved in this char siu situation. Char siu, it's like, I don't know how exactly to pronounce it, but char siu, it's incredible. And if you can find it, you should try it before you make it. But if not, just go make it. It's gonna be delicious and you won't know how close or off you are. Here's the thing about recipes with authentic stuff. Sure, it's cool to get stuff exact, and I've been like so grateful and excited within my own abilities to just rock out these recipes and make them taste amazing. However, regardless, everything's delicious. So even if they don't taste like you remember, it's still gonna be a delicious meal that you made at home. So keep that in mind, folks. I need a woman. How many other people know lyrics to about no songs but still try to sing it? Okay, cool. So I could just marinate it like this, but I actually want to slice it in half. I've never done it like this way before, but when you usually see char siu pork, it's like this long, thin piece of pork that's marinated, grilled, and then they cut it up. So this will give you more marination ability by kind of cutting it open. Now we put it into a bag and add our little marinade. Beautiful. Now this can sit for, I should probably put some ice cubes in there because I didn't wait to let the stuff cool down. I don't necessarily want to like cook the pork in there. But that's going to be one hell of a marinade. I'm going to put some ice cubes to cool it down. Alright, cool. See you in 2 hours. Psych! Quick trip to the beach. Going in the water! Time to cook more Chinese food. Beach day complete. Pork's been in the fridge for a couple hours. I took a quick trip to the beach. Check it out. And now I'm actually soaking these wood chips. I wasn't going to do this step, and you do not have to do this step either. But I kind of want to, just to be extra ballin'. So I got wood chips soaking, not too much. And what's going on is I'm going to try to smoke this thing indoors. The little smoking magic treatskis. Okay, get that out. And all you do is you get your wok here, put down some foil. I've done different ways of smoking. I've never tried this way exactly, but it should have the same principles. Turn the heat on, and as those heat up, they're going to start to bring smoke. So what I do is I put one of these on top, then put the pork there. Look at that pork, see how red that is? And I know it seems weird to add food coloring, you're probably like, what? But a lot of Chinese restaurants do that to get that really intense red flavor. And then as these heat up, it'll smoke it, and I'll cover this with some not paper towel, let's cover it with some more tin foil, and we'll be in glorious nation. So you can already see there's some steam, but also the smoke starting to come out. And that means that I get to turn the heat down a little bit, because it's pretty damn high. And I'm just gonna cover it, and it will be freaking fantastic. Wow, look at all that smoke coming out. It's just going into my little vent. But even if you don't have a vent, it's not gonna like smoke your house out like it would if you were cooking steak. Alright, now I just toss this in the oven and let it finish off. Got a little smoky. Just a quick note to show how amazing this is. This is the next day, because I couldn't do all the recipes, there's a lot of recipes. I'm eating the leftovers, the General Tso's. That's how you know it's good. The leftover tastes delicious. This pork is not quite done, but what I'm gonna do, I just had an idea to make it look sexier, is just jack the oven. It was on 350 for about 10 minutes, and it's pretty much there. It's pretty firm, but I want to just quickly blast it in the oven. I'm just gonna blast it at 495 for a few minutes. Why not 500? No idea. Even though there was sesame oil, I just added some oil for this final one to help get it crisping up, but I also put it on the rack. And the reason I did that is because if you can kind of see down there, there's all that juice. It was sitting in its own juice, which is, you know, delicious, it's juice. But what happens is it kind of steams it. So on the rack, it's gonna allow it to get crispy all around. If you don't have a rack, no big deal, but little things, they can help. And we like to have fun and experiment in the kitchen. Don't be afraid to try something new and experiment around. That is how I became the cook that I am today. And just like that, we have extra delicious pork. It's nice and firm, you can feel it, but just because I'm a little crazy, I'm gonna go the extra mile. And use my favorite tool of the entire world. Now look at that. I just want to make mention of this. The Char Siu, you can also do the exact same thing to make the incredible Chinese spare ribs. This is my mom's favorite dish. That was the only thing she ate. You basically just take the ribs, you cover it in the marinade for a couple hours, you slow cook it in the oven, and then you can grill it or, you know, roast it or something at the end to get some color. But exact same process, you just have to cook a little bit longer because the ribs need to break down. Get this cleaver like they would, and look at that. Come on, what the heck? Juicy, and it's so juicy still. Look at that piece of meat. It's sexy, you get the red food coloring. There's smokiness in there. Wow. If you like this video, please don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend that would like it. Because wouldn't they want to learn how to make all this gloriousness? Now, are you ready to make the best freaking fried rice of your entire life? Pork fried rice? Here's how we do it. So I will say one of the best parts about having this pork is now I can make pork fried rice. Of course, this is probably obvious, but in case it isn't, this fried rice recipe, you can use anything. You don't even have to use meat. You can use vegetables, you can use chicken, you can use just regular pork that you haven't done it this way, but this is like how they do it. You know, they make this amazing pork, they cut it into little pieces, and then they make it awesome. Cut the pork shot up, looks amazing. I realize if you add a little soy sauce to it, especially incredible. Ginger and garlic, carrots and onions, scallions, oyster sauce, sesame oil, tamari, this is soy sauce, and then rice. And here's the thing about the rice. The only thing you really need to know, I'm actually using leftover rice. The rice has got to be cold. If you're trying to use hot rice, it's going to get all mushy and stuff. So cold rice, you cook it fast. You want to get the wok really hot. And then also, we got to get some eggs. I can't forget the eggs. Sesame oil, it's going to go in. Canola oil, it's okay if it's smoking. Don't listen to what they say in other cultures. Carrots and onions will cook first because they're going to take the longest. It's going to get smoky in here. Now, scallions go in. Okay, fire alarm went off, no big deal. Get those in there. They're pretty much cooked. Add in some ginger and garlic. Okay, ginger, garlic went in. Now I'm just gonna push everything to the side, a little more oil, and then just crack in 2 eggs. And you can scramble these before. I prefer this way. This cooler. I think it's more like badass. You just kind of. Also makes it look a little more rustic. You get like the various colors in there. Cool. Now that it's kind of like come together, kind of finish up the scramble. You don't want to do it too early, or you won't really notice the egg as its own little entity. But pork goes in. I'm gonna go extra pork. Why not? Really aggressive with the pork. Never like when you get like barely random bits of pork. Now for the thing that makes this the thing, and which is just a great dish to have, feeds a lot of people, really easy to make. Rice goes in. Give that a quick mix together before we add in our sauce. Boom shaloom. Soy sauce goes in. Boom. And I'm just gonna do a little oyster. Soy, usually, people just do soy, but the oyster just adds a little bit of umami. So just to make it extra delicious, you can add that oyster, but you don't need to over sauce this. You want to get the sauce coated, but you don't need to be like swimming in the goddamn sauce, for Christ's sake. Wow, that is something special. Thing of beauty if I've ever seen one. A dish that, people just order on the side, but it deserves its own experience. Oh my god. You make it your own way. Add as much egg as you want. I always feel like I could dip on the meat and the egg. But that is a perfect fried rice. I feel like every time you order Chinese food, there's always one soup, whether it's wonton, egg drop, or hot and sour. And I used to be a wonton guy. My dad was always into the hot and sour, and then one day I tried it and I was like, wow, that is maybe one of the best soups I've ever had. It's so interesting. It's very different. The wonton's a little more predictable. It's basically like dumplings with some broth. Who's not gonna like that? But the hot and sour I feel like is a little bit more of a mystery. So I want to decode the mystery for you guys today and make something glorious. So check this out. Got some of that pork loin chopped up, some shiitake mushrooms and tofu, did bamboo shoots, Chinese cooking wine, soy sauce, vinegar. I'm using sriracha this time. First step to this lovely experience is get the cornstarch. We're gonna do a slurry. There's different ways to do this, but I wanna keep this simple. So to about 2 tablespoons or so of cornstarch, soy, run out of that bottle. Just a little more in this bottle, good amount of soy. Do some Chinese cooking wine, just a little splash. Good amount of rice vinegar, this is where the sour actually comes from. And sugar, just for gloriousness. Why not? Hell yeah. And I'm gonna use sriracha. You can use that, any kind of Chinese chili paste, but I just have sriracha, so I'm gonna use it. Give me a little bit of that heat. Oh yeah, so that when this hits the heat, this is what's gonna thicken the soup, because that hot and sour soup has got that crazy thickness to it. So I'm getting my wok hot. I'm gonna add sesame oil in here. Instead of adding it to the little slurry thing, I'm just gonna go in here a little extra. Give me that good flavor. Throw in the mushrooms. Cool. Just let these start to get some kolowskis to them. A little bit of that kolowski. Gotta love the lowskis for the color. Kolowskis is of course color in my made up weird language. The mushrooms cook down a lot, so if it looks like it's a lot, they're gonna basically disappear. It's like shrinkage. They're the opposite. They shrinkage in the hot weather. Okay, now that they've got a little bit of color, going with some more oil. I'm gonna chuck my pork in. I just took the pork loin, kind of like from that other recipe. Basically just chopped it into thin strips. I could have gone even thinner, but no big deal. Look at this wok. I literally got it brand new today to show you guys how to cook in a wok like this. And it's already getting nice and seasoned. All this color, it's not dirty, it's actually seasoning. You'll see woks usually, when they've been cooking for a while, they're like black. And I just want to cook this pork long enough to give it a little bit of color. So I'll let it chill just for like 30 seconds. And that's a glory to you. Good enough for me. Bamboo shoots in, give them a quick season. They're delicious. If you can't find bamboo shoots, usually you find them canned, so they're already cooked and stuff, but it helps to kind of wash them off, rinse them, cook them a bit. Just like taste them. Sometimes when you get canned stuff, it tastes weird. Oh, smoke. Oh god, smoke lady's going off. Smoke it out of my house. All we're going to do is we're going to add in the tofu, and it starts off in water. Normally you would add stock, but I forgot the damn chicken stock. Here's the thing about stock versus water. I used to always freak out when I saw a recipe calling for stock when I didn't have it, or broth. It's like, oh, I'm screwed. But I didn't realize it's just flavored water. And I know that sounds obvious, but a lot of times people think they need it. And yes, it helps, it adds more flavor. But listen, if you don't have stock, use water and then just add more seasoning. I can add more soy to this, I can add some vinegar, whatever I need, to still maintain a good amount of flavor. And sure, it's gonna be a little bit different, but it's no big deal. So as this comes to a boil, I'm just gonna add in my slurry mixture, which had the sriracha in it, the soy sauce, cooking wine, vinegar, and now it's already starting to look like hot and sour soup. This is actually very exciting. Give it a little taste, why not? Oh wow, oh my god. I don't know how I managed to nail all these recipes so goddamn good. I just tasted that. That is incredible. I'm like very happy with it. I've never been so cooking happy with myself in my entire life. It's a very good feeling. How hot! And now I've got my scallones, haha, which I used to absolutely hate. When I would get them in my soup, I would pick them out one by one because they're so gnarly, but now I love them. And this soup, it gets very thick because of that cornstarch, which like it used to kind of weird me out, but now I really appreciate it. Okay, so let's make sure this is looking sexy for you guys, because you are the ones watching, and you don't see me. Okay, so as it comes to a boil, you'll see it will thicken up. Yeah, there it goes. And this is one recipe that doesn't have ginger and garlic. It's really the only one today. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soup. I just have one beaten up egg that I'm gonna kind of like slowly drizzle in. This is really what they do with, I guess I don't really have enough to slowly drizzle, but this is what they basically do with egg drop soup. And you'll see it kind of adds that, it also helps thicken it too, and it adds that final look that really makes this soup what it is. Wow, that is the most refined, glorious hot and sour I've ever seen. Of course, sprinkle it with the good life. Oh yeah, come on. And looky chicken cookie, just like that, we have rocked the Chinese takeout. So beautiful. Wow, I don't even need chicken stock. I can see how it added a little bit of depth, but this is delicious. Thank you guys for sticking around for part 2 of how to make the entire Chinese takeout menu. I have been rocking these recipes. What blows me away is I feel great. I've eaten a lot of food, but I still feel good. It's not like affecting my stomach. It's not making, oh, I gotta take this shit. You know, whatever. I feel good. I feel happy. I feel like I'm eating this myself. I'm not adding too much oil. I'm not adding too much MSG and all that stuff. It's fresh. It's glorious. Give it a try. Subscribe. Like. Say hello to Brother Screen.